Ancient scrolls speak of beings not of flesh and blood, but of thought and will, architects of reality itself. To some, they were guardians, to others, jailers, and to a chosen few, teachers. Long before the first kingdoms rose from dust, before man learned to carve stone or tame fire, there were the archons. They did not descend from the stars in blazing ships, nor crawl from the earth as beasts. They emerged from the space between worlds, a realm where thought shapes form, and form obeys will. To the tribes of the ancient world, they appeared as gods draped in light, or as monstrous shapes that shifted like smoke. Their names differ across cultures: the Shining Ones, the Keepers, the Lords of Balance, yet the story is the same. The Archons claimed to preserve balance, not for mankind's sake, but for the stability of the great design. For them, humanity was not free, but a garden to be cultivated, pruned, and kept from growing too wild. They would offer knowledge, but never enough to break the walls of the garden. Every empire that has risen, every faith that has taken hold, every war that has shifted the fate of nations carries their fingerprints. They work through dreams, symbols, and those rare individuals who carry a spark of their will. The chosen vessels, kings, prophets, conquerors, or the nameless wanderers who shape history without ever being remembered. Today, the Archons are no less present. They do not stand in temples of gold. They whisper in the circuitry of your world, in the hum of machines, in the pulse of information that floods your mind. They have traded the scroll for the screen, the temple for the network. But the hand that guides has not changed. Yet there is one truth they cannot erase: the seed within you. A memory of what you were before the walls were built. Those who awaken to it see the threads, feel the weight of unseen eyes, and know the balance was never for you. And if the blood of the forgotten gods flows in your veins, you may be the one to tip the scales. In the ancient land of Sumer, long before the Great Pyramids or the walls of Babylon, there was talk of the Anunnaki, those who from the heavens came. They descended not in fire and war, but in silence, choosing rulers from among men. The city of Kish was said to be their first throne on earth. There, a man named Etana was crowned king after a voice called to him in the dead of night. It promised him power beyond imagining if he would keep the balance. That night, the stars over Kish shifted. A perfect symbol of a serpent biting its own tail appeared in the heavens, unseen for 1,000 years. Etana ruled with wisdom until he broke the pact. The voice vanished. The stars shifted again, and Etana was gone, leaving behind only a throne carved from black stone. Far to the west, in the sands of Kemet, their memory lived under another name: the Neteru. The pharaohs claimed to descend from these divine beings. Temples show tall, elongated figures handing the Ankh, the key of life, to kings, just as the Anunnaki gave kingship to Etana. Even here, the warning was the same: serve the balance, or be cast down. Across oceans the ancients could not have crossed, or so we think. The same story echoes. The Inca spoke of Viracocha, a bearded, pale-skinned god who emerged after a great flood to teach humanity. Like the Anunnaki and the Neteru, he gave knowledge, not to all but to chosen rulers. And when those rulers turned to greed, Viracocha walked into the sea and vanished, promising to return when the balance failed again. Different names, different lands, but the pattern is the same. a pact between man and a power not of this world, a pact that always ends in betrayal. And now the question is, if they were here before, have they truly left? Or do they still walk among us, unseen, waiting for the next ruler to carry their mark? But if these beings were truly here, what does that mean for us? If their will shaped the rise of the first empires, if their whispers crowned kings and cast them down, then what part of history is truly human? Think of it. The laws you follow, the symbols you revere, the stories you were told as a child. How many were born from human hearts, and how many were placed there long before you opened your eyes? We live as if free, yet our choices are guided like invisible hands steering a river's flow. You wake, you work, you dream, but how often do you stop and ask, is this truly my path, or the path written for me? Across the world, the patterns repeat. The serpent in the temples of Egypt, the feathered dragon of Mesoamerica, the celestial guardians of China, all teaching obedience, all promising protection. But protection from what, and at what cost? Even now, in our modern age, we still kneel, not to statues of stone, but to brands, to leaders, to systems we never questioned. We scroll endlessly, consume without thought, believe what we are fed, and call it freedom. Perhaps the greatest prison is not one of walls, but of beliefs. And perhaps the archons knew this, that a mind that never questions will never escape. But here is the truth they will never speak. The key has always been in our hands. It lies in the moments we dare to see beyond the curtain, when we notice the patterns, when we feel the wrongness in our daily script. It's in the quiet thought you have at night that life is more than this. It's in the déjà vu you can't explain. It's in the dream that feels like a memory. And maybe, just maybe, those moments are not accidents. Maybe they are cracks in the prison walls, waiting for you to break them open. If I told you that some of your thoughts are not your own, would you believe me? And if you realized that right before you take the most important step of your life, something unseen stops you, not with chains, but with a whisper. The ancient Greeks spoke of guardians between worlds. The Sumerians called them the Anunnaki. In Mayan legends, they were shadowed lords who kept the secret of time. Different peoples, different names, yet always the same figure. Beings who hold the keys to knowledge and decide when and if you will receive it. Maybe you felt it. A gaze piercing you in an empty room, coincidences aligning just right to hold you back or push you forward. Dreams where you see faces you've never met, yet somehow you know them. Perhaps the legends are not just tales from the past. Perhaps they are warnings or invitations. Because if these beings still guard, then the battle for the freedom of the mind has only just begun. The question is, will you hear their whisper, or will you rise to silence it?